That was a good clap. I've already done 2.
I got the clap. Okay, I got the clap.
You got the clap. All right. Welcome back to Legends in My Own Mind, guys. Sitting here for our final week. You've been on some kind of ride with us. Thank you for joining us. But now we've reached our final episode with the one, the only, the legend in my mind, Truk Thompson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Truk. So I talk about, I love talking about the passion. I love talking about the journey and the philosophies and everything that we've learned. I love getting, just learning about all the guys that come on this show. But I think to get a real complete picture of who we are as a wrestler, we always have to then go back to being a fan.
Mm-hmm.
That like if there's like to be the complete, we have to still be a fan. So I always like to finish off with just a little fun. We've talked about philosophies and development and some heavy stuff. I always like to finish off with just a little bit of fun. And I want to know, who is your Survivor Series dream team? Who's on your Survivor Series dream team?
Well, I'm gonna pick them to win.
Pick them to win.
Okay, and these are guys, so I'm getting a little emotion into them. So I want to pick guys I like and guys that I know win. Number one, perfect. Stan Hansen.
Stan Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That guy, he's going to barrel through him.
Yeah. So how did you... Oh, okay, so let me ask you this. Where did you pick up on Stan Hansen? Because Stan Hansen is not a guy like... He's not... He never had a long run or big
not over here
in WWE. Yeah, you know what I mean? So he's not always real well known to the States, So where did you pick up on Stan Hansen?
It was actually Blake Steele. Gave me a DVD of him. I'd heard of him and I'd seen little clips here or there. He gave me it was like a 6-disc collection of Stan Hansen matches, and just that dude just like he brought the believability back. He was getting her just beat the hell out of him.
Yep.
He ripped Vader's eye out. I mean this dude, he was badass, and him and Hogan and that's where I felt like that match there was like this. I love this dude because him and Hogan had a fantastic match. They went out there and just beat the hell out of each other. Here was Hogan at the time being the All-American hero.
Right. He's
raking his eyes. He's hitting him with chairs. He's doing everything he can to beat Stan Hansen down. And Stan Hansen the whole time's like, F that. You ain't hurting me. So
he was a beast.
And if he didn't if he didn't want to, he just, he let you know. And that's what I liked about him. And even if he was scheduled to, lose the match,
right.
He still made you look great. He made you look like you earned that win.
Yeah.
And you normally did by the end of the match look like you earned the win.
You probably legit did earn that win. Ooh, strong start, man. All right, who's next?
Well, I think I jumped the shark with that one. It's going to be hard to... I should have saved him for last.
There's a lot of good guys out there.
My mind crowd's going wild right now. The Berserker, I'm sorry. What's not the... brain fart, man. I'm sorry. All these.
So you're talking about Bruiser Brody?
Yes, Bruiser Brody. Sorry,
the guy. So the Berserker is a WWE gimmick who was patterned after Bruiser Brody.
There you go.
Bruiser Brody was the real deal.
Was the real Berserker? That's who I meant. Bruiser Brody.
Bruiser Brody was. Somebody went back in time and found a real life Viking. And brought him forward to the mid 70s. He was a mid 70s. I think that's early 80s guy, right?
Yeah, I think he made it around the 80s, 84. I think I'm not 100% positive, but I think it's round about when the career ended.
Yep.
If you want to put it that way. But yeah, he was 2 reasons I loved that guy. Number one is his in-ring ability, same way, just crazy. Beat the hell out of you. You're going to earn this win style wrestling. Made it believable. And then he had that whole prestige factor to him. Outside of the ring, a wonderful father, a family man, awesome husband. So if you know, a lot of people said in his excuse me, in his documentary that you wouldn't have known who he was outside of the ring. Kind of like a whole madman thing. That you know, who the hell is this guy?
Yep.
So yeah, I'd say Bruiser Brody. That'd be number 2.
That's a good pick.
Yep.
Number 3.
You know, you gotta go with the usual suspects. I'd probably have to get Macho Man out there. That's that guy owned the ring inside and out. His in-ring promo or his promos. I mean, who doesn't go? Oh yeah! I mean, that was at least once any wrestling fan.
Yeah. Well, he's one of those guys too. He gets to he's broke through into the mainstream. You know, mainly because he was
Slim Jim
guy. Yeah, but lots of people. Chances are good if you don't know wrestling. If you're not a wrestling fan, you still know who Macho Man Randy Savage is.
Somebody's made a reference to him,
right,
one time or another.
Yep.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's.
So do you have when was your earliest? What's your earliest memory of Macho Man?
Oh man, actually, we went to a show in Springfield, and that's probably and I was real young, and that meant a world to me. That Mom took us there. We were dirt poor, so to be able to go to a show, to watch my real life heroes in action was great. We had floor seats too, so I knew she went all out.
Yeah.
Him and Hogan it was a house show, so they got to have a little more fun. And at the time I didn't really I didn't like Macho Man. He was the bad guy, and Hogan was a good guy. But now that I've fast forward into the training and all that, and I can actually look back at the match and analyze it. One of my favorite spots was Macho Man came in the ring with a chair. There was a ref bump. Macho Man came in with a ring chair and went to swing it, and Hogan ducked and grabbed the chair. And as he grabbed it, he pushed Macho Man out of the ring, and he fell out. Went over the top rope, which once again is probably one of the best people to go over the top rope.
Right.
So he went over the top rope, and Hogan just grabbed the chair and sat down in it. And was doing this, waiting. And like I said, then I was like, but Macho Man was the one that really was planning. He's the one that controlled that and let that happen, to let the crowd have that, low moment, hating Macho Man because the ref just bumped. Oh no, he's grabbing a chair. He's going to hit him with it. And then they used that as the spot. And that was, awesome. I thought it was a simple, awesome spot.
Yeah.
And then to have that little bit of humor added to it with Hogan just sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
And of course, you got to go Steamboat, Steamboat and him at WrestleMania. To this day, I actually just watched it again probably about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Still, to this day, it's an amazing caliber match. Way ahead of its time.
Oh, for sure.
The guy was a professional at what he did, honed in on his craft, and he just, his that story where he actually called Steamboat on Thanksgiving to talk about their match. And he's like, "Man, I'm trying to have family, chill out."
Yep.
So yeah, pick 3 easily.
Okay.
That's definitely one of my favorites.
Number 4?
Lesnar. I'm a huge Lesnar fan.
Big Lesnar fan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I love Lesnar. You can talk all the smack you want about him, but he's got heel
in
the palm of his hand. People hate him, and they tune in just to watch him because how much they hate him.
Yeah.
Who else has done what he's done as far as been on top of the WWE, the UFC? The guy was an amazing amateur wrestler.
Yeah.
The guy's a literal beast.
Yep.
He's got this guy's. He can't work the mic worth of crap, but he don't need to. Yeah, he just goes in there and owns.
Got Paul Heyman.
Yeah, he just goes in there and owns and takes care of business. And not only he's a jerk outside of the ring, but he's prestiging it. Doing that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to make people pissed off at him. I don't think even if he's a face, he'd probably still be a jerk. But
he is who he is.
Yeah.
So did you like him? Have you liked him his whole career? Did you like him more before he left for the UFC versus when he came back? How did you?
No, I think I really started liking him when he went to the UFC.
Okay.
Because he was one of the first to really go mainstream. Everybody's like, oh, he's a show pony. He lost, but then what I really liked about him is he picked everything up and he went back at it.
Did it again.
And then won. And then not only won, but he dominated. I couldn't off the top of my head.
Frank Mir.
Yeah. So I mean,
he lost to Frank. He dominated. He lost to Frank Mir.
Then he beat Crazy Horse, shattered Crazy Horse's face. And then he beat Frank Mir again, and then he
went throwback.
Couture,
yeah, and so I mean the guy's earned his stripes.
Yeah,
and I think part of me, because you always got the UFC versus WWE fans. Part of me really enjoyed the fact that there was a wrestler in UFC dominating UFC. And then he came back.
Okay. All right, man. It's good picks. That's a good team. So we got Stan Hansen, Bruiser Brody, Macho Man, and Lesnar. Final pick, man. Who's your team captain? Who's your anchor?
It's a hard one. I mean, not really, but I know who I'm going to say. And I
kind of. Is there an honorable mention you want to throw out before we go in for the kill?
I would actually put Hogan up there, and it's kind of hard to say that, but just
honorable mention?
Because he was a childhood hero for so long.
Yep.
I feel like he kind of earns the right to be, as an honorable mention just for that. Flair, definitely honorable mention.
Yeah.
Amazing in ring skill, outside the ring skill. He hasn't done what he's done. I really wish that he would have broke through.
Yeah.
I think he did.
Through.
He's got the woo.
Yeah.
But I don't really know if he's not as mainstream as Hogan. He's not as mainstream as
I think what's interesting about Flair, I think he has kind of reached that mainstream.
Yeah,
I think he's reached that mainstream because now so many guys who are great, Hogan, Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, like all these guys who have been superstars have talked so much about how Ric Flair is the greatest of all time. It's like, it's like all that, like he did all that work and never quite broke through, but then now the recognition that all that work has earned him has kind of broken him through. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Almost, yeah.
I wish I wish Flair would have got a show like Hogan did. I think it would have been a lot more fun to watch.
Maybe.
Hotel door closes.
Yeah.
7 hours go by. See some lady waddling out.
Right.
Another one and another one.
All right, man. We got your honorable mentions. Who's your final pick?
I got to go with The Rock.
The Rock.
I mean, who didn't love The Rock and the fact that he's done what he's done, and his amazing in-ring ability, his mic ability to bring the crowd into what he's done, and still, I mean, the guy's been off making movies, and he just come back on SmackDown. They actually doubled their ticket prices when they announced that he was coming because he's The Rock, and I feel like it's kind of a cheesy pick, but then again, I don't care because he's been that electrifying, if you will, for so long.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Let me just and I don't think it's a cheesy pick. I love The Rock. I like your team, but it is interesting because when we take you started off with Stan Hansen and Brody, two guys who are pretty wild, two guys who really.
Can you imagine if them two tagged up?
Oh, they did. I have.
Did they? Oh, do you?
Yeah, for sure. They tagged a lot in Japan.
Really?
They were a pretty regular tag team in Japan.
Shoot, I never.
Yeah, you'll have to look for some of that.
I will.
It's pretty wild.
Without a doubt.
They do a lot. There's a lot of matches. I've seen a few matches that are Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen versus Terry and Dory Funk in Japan. Those matches.
You're gonna want a shot.
Go check those matches. Go check those matches. But okay, so you got Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen.
Free penicillin shot for every fan that buys a ticket.
Yeah. No doubt. Two kind of wild guys, two guys who kind of made their names being so believable because they really were out of control and really did beat you up in the ring and like you really had to fight those guys.
Even the fans had to worry. They throw the chairs and the fans would be ducking.
They were wild. They were out of control. Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
I feel like Brock Lesnar fits right in line with them because he has done that. He's made a career because he went and had some real fights, and then he made his career bringing that same kind of ferocity and that same believability back to wrestling.
He beat up a one-legged kid in front of his mother.
Right. You know? So we've got that. I feel like those three go right in line. And if anybody fits with them, Macho Man was always the madness, and he was always a little wild. And he put in, he was a little more sports entertainment while he was in WWE, but he definitely had that ferocity. You know what I mean? He was so ferocious in the ring, and he was believable in the ring. And go and watch his punches. He throws great punches, and his clotheslines were always, he sunk everything in.
He never rainbowed a single clothesline.
No, he definitely did not. So like those three guys seem like they fit on a team. They seem like they fit right in line with your philosophies and everything that we've talked about with you. And yeah, The Rock's kind of an outlier. I think it's super interesting that you would throw him out there, because he is, not that he's not believable, but he's sports entertainment all day.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that I think is worth mentioning is that he goes the other way. His character is he is so in his character. You know what I mean? Like, you never doubt The Rock believes what he's saying, you know what I mean? And like, that's why he became The Rock, because he was able to find that character where he was just believable and people hated him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They hated him until they couldn't. They hated him until they had to love him, because he was so believable. He was so funny, and he would pop off those one-liners, and it wasn't like a pre-scripted one-liner like, oh, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? You know what I mean? Like when he belted that out, right? You know what I mean? When he belted that out, when he was making fun of somebody, when he was making fun of the kid backstage, you know what I mean? Like you believed all of it and you loved all of it. So like, he seems like an outlier, but I can also see where he fits right in line with everything you've been talking about.
Yeah, it's hard not to enjoy anything. I'm trying to think of a match that The Rock's been in that I didn't like.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah, he's right on top of it, man.
And you can't pick a promo he's done that you don't like, because that guy he had the mic down.
Yep. And
then of course you got to call up. I got to have Paul Heyman as my manager for the Five, because
right.
You got Bruiser, none of these guys can talk except for The Rock.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure that goes right along with your believability, because I'm pretty sure Paul Heyman still doesn't know
wrestling's fake.
Yeah, I think he thinks it's all real. Man, this has been a blast.
Yes,
Thank you so
man.
much for coming and doing this with me. Before we wrap up, anything you want to finish on? Anything you got to close out?
Just push yourself. Don't stop believing. Don't stop believing not only in wrestling, but believe in yourself. And no matter what you're doing, not just wrestling. Grab the bull by the horns, if you will. If you see your limits, learn how to get around them and push through them. One day, whether it be wrestling or whatever you want to tackle in life, get that comfort zone, understand your comfort zone, and get out of it. Because your comfort zone, not only, it's comforting there, but it's not going to get you anywhere. And once you learn to get out of that comfort zone, you'll learn that zone you're in now will eventually become comfortable. And you can just move into the next one and make it comfortable. Move into the next one and keep pushing yourself to the next level until your comfort zone is so far up that you can't even see the comfort zone you started in.
Beautiful. Perfect, man. Thank you so much, Truk.
Thank you. I appreciate it big time.
You really are a legend in my mind. And I'm sure after this series of videos, thank you guys for coming with us. I'm sure you will be a legend in their minds as well.
And thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here with you, of all people. Massive influence in my career.
I appreciate you coming.
And thanks.